Can you imagine a world without your nervous system? It would be a world where you couldn't eat, sleep, walk, run, talk, hear, taste, or do anything. It would be a world in which you couldn't live. A world without your nervous system would be a world without yourself. It would simply be nothing.
The nervous system controls the entire body by using nerve impulses, which can send information to and from the brain rapidly. There are two major divisions. The first one is the central nervous system, and it's made up of the brain and the spinal cord, and the other one is the peripheral nervous system, which consists of the rest of the nerves that are scattered throughout the entire body. When an action potential is sent to the brain interprets the information and decides how to respond to the stimuli. And once it does that, the nerve impulse is sent down to the motor nerve, which causes the muscles to respond in a certain way.
This is one of the many functions of the nervous system. The nervous system can also regulate body temperature, control the release of urine, control basic drives such as hunger or thirst, and emotions like anger. The nervous system also interprets stimuli from the olfactory nerve, which allows you to smell, the optic nerve, which allows you to see, and the vestibulocochlear nerve, which allows you to hear. Essentially, the nervous system is the dictator of the body, and it rules with an iron fist and a myriad of nerve impulses.
There are many ways to keep your nervous system healthy. I remember when I was younger, my mom used to give me these mini Flintstone vitamins. And one day I was taking them and I asked my mom, why am I taking these vitamins? And she's like, well, it keeps you healthy. But I was a child back then, so I'm like, but mom, this is cannibalism. I'm eating mini Flintstone people. Well, anyway, she was right. Vitamins are very healthy for you. Vitamins are essential to the nervous system and how it functions. Vitamin B1 increases cognitive ability and normal brain function because it converts carbohydrates into glucose, which is used in the brain. Vitamin B6 it helps maintain normal brain function because it helps the body make neurotransmitters. Vitamin B12 prevents nerve damage. It also helps maintain the fatty sheath layer in nerves, which covers and protects it. Vitamin B5 is essential for nervous system development. It also regulates proper adrenal function. It helps the conversion of fat and sugar into energy, a maintenance of growth tissue, and tissue replacement.
In order to obtain these necessary vitamins, you need to eat a balanced diet of carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. New research has found that dietary factors can affect your synapses' ability to strengthen or weaken over time in responses to increases or decreases in their activity.
Ever feel like smoking the devil's lettuce like the cool kids do? Well, don't. The use of illegal drugs and alcohol can affect the nervous system after prolonged consumption and intake of these chemicals. Drugs alter the biochemistry of the brain. The brain, in response, tries to make chemical imbalances to back to equilibrium, but it can impair cognitive function. Overindulgence of alcohol can lead to Korsakoff syndrome. Korsakoff syndrome is caused by a lack of vitamin B1, and it can lead to the inability to create new memories, lose old memories, and have hallucinations.
Okay. So what causes the nervous system to become unhealthy? The nervous system is vulnerable to infections from bacteria, fungi, and viruses. Meningitis is one of these possible infections. It's an infection on the membrane that surrounds the spinal cord and brain. Additionally, physical damage can occur caused by trauma or tumor growth in the brain.
Another way for the nervous system to become unhealthy is if it's afflicted by a disease. Even though there are many diseases that we could talk about that involve the nervous system, we will be only discussing a few of them. The first one is Huntington's disease. Huntington's disease is caused by an expansion of the HD gene in the 4th chromosome. Today, there are about 30,000 people in America who are symptomatic, and about 20,000 people who are at risk of inheriting the disease. Children who have parents who are afflicted by Huntington's disease have a 50-50 chance of carrying the gene as well. The symptoms that people with this disease start to experience are personality changes, mood swings, depression, impaired judgment, involuntary movements, slurred speech, and weight loss. And as the person gets older, the disorder also gets worse. Unfortunately, there aren't any curative treatments for the disease, but the medication that is used to treat Huntington's disease helps manage those symptoms.
Schizophrenia affects about 1% of the population. The cause of schizophrenia is unknown, but is believed to be a combination of genetics, brain chemistry, and environmental factors. The symptoms of schizophrenia include delusions, hallucinations, disorganized thinking and speaking, abnormal behavior, and numerous negative symptoms. They use antipsychotics to treat this and help maintain the symptoms. 10 years after initial diagnosis, about 50% of schizophrenics are either completely recovered or function to the point where they are independent. Unfortunately, only 10% saw no way through the pain except through death.
While polio is no longer a problem in much of the world thanks to global eradication campaigns, it still is in Pakistan, Afghanistan, and some countries in Africa. While polio can be prevented with vaccination, there is no cure, and pain can only be managed with exercises. Between 2 and 10 to 100 people who develop paralysis die, but thankfully less than 1% of people who have polio will develop paralysis.
Multiple sclerosis is a disease in which the immune system eats away the protective covering of nerves. The cause of multiple sclerosis is still unknown and has no cure. However, medication and physical therapy can help slow the disease progression and the symptoms. The Multiple Sclerosis Foundation estimated that about 400,000 people in the United States and about 2.5 million people around the world have multiple sclerosis. Some symptoms are numbness, dizziness, and depression.
Do you remember what you ate last night or wore last week? If you felt rage and frustration because of the time it took you to recall, you can almost imagine how an Alzheimer's patient feels like on a daily basis when experiencing some of their symptoms. Alzheimer's disease is a progressive form of dementia that causes degeneration and shrinkage of neural pathways and brain components. It affects approximately 5.5 million Americans and 1 out of 9 people aged 65 and older. Beta amyloid protein plaques that form on neurons block neurotransmission and cause a loss of memory and motor coordination, emotional instability, and poor abstract thinking. As of now, there is no specific cause for Alzheimer's disease. However, the symptoms are marked by the shrinkage of the hippocampus, an imperative learning, emotion, and memory center in the brain, and through beta amyloid protein plaques that form on neurons. The best form of medication in this case would be to boost medications that boost neurotransmission and treatment that is holistic and features rest, diet, and exercise, improving one's overall health.
Autism is a neurological disorder which causes impairment of social and motor skills. It is caused by several mutations in genes which are involved with the synapses in neurons located in the brain. Patients with autism tend to display very ritualistic schedules, morbid attachment to familiar objects, and a range of speech disorders which can range from complete muteness to delayed onset of speech. Autism cannot be cured, however, it can be managed. Speech and behavioral therapy will help manage the symptoms of autism, and in extreme cases, medicines may be used to control extreme behavioral problems. Autism mostly affects males and has an occurrence rate of about 1 in every 42 boys, 1 in every 189 girls, with a total of about 1 in every 68 children.
Without the nervous system, there is no communication between the brain and the body. Deficient communication from the brain to the spinal cord and body decreases the ability to sustain imperative bodily functions, such as a proper breathing rate, motor function, and sensory input. When a nervous system is kept healthy through preventative care, such as vitamin supplementation, increased hydration, complete sleep cycles, and avoidance of illegal and recreational drugs, there is increased neurotransmission, which in turn could increase your chances of feeling like Einstein. However, not specifically reach Einstein's neural capacity. One can dream, right?